This episode is titled Dreams in Darkness. It came out on the 3rd of November 1992. Directed by Dick Sabast, written by Garfield Reeves-Stevens and Judith Reeves-Stevens, animation by Studio Junio, featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman and Bruce Wayne, Efren Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred Pennyworth, Richard Dysart as Dr. Bartholomew, Takayo Fisher as Dr. Wu, Lauren Lester as Robin and one of the Scarecrow's henchmen, Henry Pollock as Scarecrow, and Ron Taylor as the Orderly and the new villain Torchy. Torchy, the villain Torchy, who I can't wait to talk about. Okay, honorable mentions. Studio Junio animated this episode, and they previously animated the Underdwellers episode. Director Dick Sabast has been credited previously on this podcast in our Cat and the Claw Part 2 review, so go back and check out that episode if you haven't yet already. Writers Garfield Reeves-Stevens and Judith Reeves-Stevens made their BTAS debut in this episode. They will go on to write other episodes like The Strange Secret of Bruce Wayne or Fire from Olympus. Their other credits include the Phantom 2040 animated series, which I didn't even know existed. But there was an animated series with the character the Phantom that was based, like, basically Batman Beyond, but before Batman Beyond was the Phantom 2040.
Oh, 2040 is like not far away now.
I know.
Oh god, I'm gonna be 50 in 2040.
Someone said the other day, though, like, you know, Terry, Batman and Batman Beyond, said that he was born in 2019. I was like, oh my god, we live in a time where Terry is alive.
As a 5-year-old.
As like a 5-year-old, yeah. Because Batman Beyond...
my parents don't get addicted to drugs. Is that what happened to his parents? I can't remember.
No. But we'll get there many years from now.
Well, Reddit.
Well, only one of them dies.
I really biffed it.
And they also wrote Star Trek Enterprise episodes and Action Man the movie. Don't know if you remember Action Man the movie, but they wrote that as well. Okay, acting creds here. All returning characters have been credited previously on this podcast in their first appearances, such as Lauren Lester as Robin in Christmas with the Joker, or Henry Pollock as Scarecrow in Nothing to Fear. So go back and listen to those episodes if you're interested in learning more about those voice actors. And as far as new acting creds go for this episode, Richard Dysart, who plays Dr. Bartholomew, is also known for playing Dr. Copper in The Thing. Do you remember the character Dr. Copper in The Thing?
He's the one that gets his hands bitten off, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah, and that's Dr. Bartholomew in this. Also, we've got Coy Layhood in Pale Rider, Bob Wire Salesman in Back to the Future 3, and Cogliostro in the Spawn animated movies and TV shows as well.
Cool.
He died in 2015 at the age of 86, so a pretty good old age there. Takayo Fisher, who plays Dr. Wu, is also known for playing Mrs. Chu in The Pursuit of Happiness, Kari Tanaga in Batman Beyond, Mistress Ching in Pirates of the Caribbean 3, and Mr. Kim in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, Mr. Kim. Yeah. I know exactly. It's like the lady, right? With like the slicked up hair. Yeah.
Yes. That's the Dr. Wu in this episode.
Okay.
And then finally, Ron Taylor, who plays the Orderly, is also known for playing Orderly and also what's his name? Oh my god, Torchy. How could I forget Torchy? Ron Taylor plays Orderly, and Torchy is also known for playing Big Black Guy in Trading Places. That's his actual character's name. Deacon Holmes.
What if he had a choice in naming that character?
Deacon Holmes in Matlock, and Klingon Chef in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And now our utility belt of fun facts. This episode marks the last time that Scarecrow is the main villain in an episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Really?
So we won't see him now until... we will see him again, but not as the main villain. And he won't be a main villain until the new Batman Adventures, which is obviously a lot of episodes away. According to Bruce Timm, the gun rising out of the street wasn't initially meant to be dripping blood. He said it wasn't intended to be blood, it was intended to be wreckage from the street, but they painted it red, and it looks like this big old gun is dripping with blood. And it kind of did.
Was the coolest scene of this whole freaking episode. I was like, that
awesome.
Was beautiful.
Yeah.
The
fact that they walk into a tunnel, yeah, that's amazing.
And out pops a gun. Like, that was, yeah. And the way, honestly, Kevin Conroy's acting when it's like, he's like, no, like, my parents are about to be shot. Like, crazy.
Yeah. The plot by Scarecrow in this episode to poison Gotham City's water supply by using Arkham's basement is similar to the main plot of the 2005 film Batman Begins.
I said that out loud whilst I was watching it. I did like the classic like Leonardo DiCaprio point, and I was like, that's Batman Begins.
I mean, it even takes place under Arkham in that movie too, which is crazy.
Does it?
Yeah. Out of all the Batman the Animated Series episodes, this is the only one to ever mention the Joker's real name, Jack Napier.
Yeah.
In addition, was that weird for you?
Hear. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was weird too.
I said to myself, I said, what the hell? You're not supposed to say that.
Yeah, and in addition, the name appears on the Joker's file in the episode Joker's Wild, which is to come however long from now. Then we get Joker's laughter in this episode is provided by Lauren Lester, the voice of Robin. So that's why his laugh is very different in this. Dr. Bartholomew could be a reference to Dr. Bartholomew Wolper, the doctor that treated Two-Face and the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, okay, cool.
That makes sense to me. A couple more here. Scarecrow's mask has been slightly redesigned in this episode. It has a slightly different stitch job. The hair is also combed and much neater. The eye slits are smaller, and the teeth are slightly smaller as well. The mask is also tighter than before with a smaller jaw. So they kind of tightened everything up on his face. I don't know if you noticed. I didn't notice much, but I did think it's a much better look than his first episode where he was just a big sock head, like a big nutsack. This plot is allegedly based on the comic book Batman: The Last Arkham, where Batman commits himself to Arkham Asylum to investigate a series of murders, only to then be imprisoned by Jeremiah Arkham, the asylum's head doctor. So I've never read that. Have you read that?
No, never read that.
Finally, Batman saying, "Robin, look out, Joker's got a bomb," whilst being wheeled on a stretcher through Arkham is a reference to Jason Todd's Robin and his death in an explosion caused by a bomb that the Joker triggered.
Is it?
So yeah, I mean that's what my creds said from the official DCAU
website.
Grayson
we're talking about here.
Yes, but they're referencing the comic book and obviously paying an ode to it with Jason Todd and stuff. It's a little Easter egg, They're just like, hey, maybe if you're a big nerd, you'll get this. So that's why it was there. And I'm a big nerd, so
yes,
here we
you're
are.
A fucking loser. Only a nerd would get that.
So what did you think of this episode, bud?
It was good. I really liked it, yeah. I think they definitely would have taken a little cheeky peeky underneath that mask. Like, at least wait until Batman's asleep, right? And then, if I was one of the guys that, all right, gotta wipe Batman's ass and see it has a straitjacket on, he's not gonna do it himself. You would have definitely taken a quick little peek.
Yeah, I would have taken a little sneaky peek as well.
If I can see your butthole, I'm gonna see your face. All right, Mister, that's the way it works. I like to look the guy directly in the eyes that I'm gonna wipe his butt.
I thought the animation was pretty good, especially Penguin's head exploding into Two Faces. I thought that was exceptionally good.
Yeah, well, that whole
I enjoyed that.
Any scene where he's tripping balls, it was very well animated. Especially when he's running and the city grows over the top of him.
Yes, yeah, that was as you said, the best scene of the whole episode for sure. That was really powerful stuff. I thought the music was great, especially again getting all the villains' leitmotifs every time they appeared. Their music would play. I thought that was great. So the music in this was good. I thought it was kind of creepy vibes, which obviously is what was intended. And then I really liked the opening of this episode. Like the doctor talking about a patient and then opening up the door to the cell and suddenly it's Batman. I thought it was a really great way to introduce this episode.
Pure film noir. We're going to take you to an exciting point in the story and then we're going to go back to how it all began with someone doing a voiceover.
Yes.
Which that motif they just gave up on. They were like, and now it's present day, so whatever. What
did you think of Batman narration in this? Because we never get a Batman narration again in this whole thing.
I like it because we get Batman narration all the time in the comics, and that's the special thing about the Batman comics. I think Scott Snyder said something like this. It's the only place where you can actually hear what Batman's thinking about. You can't get that in any other medium, and that's really special. So
it's true, yeah. And I thought it was really good that you get an insight into his thoughts, as you said, and also Kevin Conroy did a bang up job as narrating. I was I want all my Batman comics read to me by Kevin Conroy, hearing that narration.
You're tucked in for bed and you're all warm, got your teddy next to you with a little bat mask on, and you're okay, I'm ready, Kevin Conroy. All right, here we go.
I'm the ghost of Kevin Conroy. You're wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for.
You would not be upset if the ghost of Kevin Conroy visited you was I must read you The Dark Knight Returns while I tuck you into bed and you go to sleep. You'd be like, All right, that sounds pretty
All right. Yeah, that does sound pretty cool. I was surprised that Batman couldn't get out of the straitjacket, considering he trained with a magician and literally escaped a straitjacket in chains in a future episode.
I was going to say, is there not an episode where we see him easily escape a much harder, like...
Yes.
Yeah. The only excuse is like, oh, maybe like it's because he's under some drugs, so he's not properly with it.
Maybe, yeah, or maybe he's not hanging upside down, because every time he's escaped from a straitjacket, he's hanging upside down. So maybe that's the way to get, like, gravity is the only thing in your favor there. I don't know, but I was thinking, like, Batman, you could definitely get out of that, bud. I think he still had his utility belt on as well. When I was like, come on, there's got to be something in your belt that you can do a voice command on.
Also, I'm surprised they didn't get done up on this episode for driving whilst intoxicated, because Batman was clearly under the influence when he was driving, and look what happened.
That's true.
He drove off the side of the fucking road, and he nearly hit a child, aka Robin.
Well. Yeah, a fake child that wasn't.
Well, we don't know that.
We do know that.
We don't.
He didn't know that, but Robin definitely was not there.
We don't know that.
Can you imagine if Robin actually was there? Like, he's not helping Batman at all. He spends his nights just walking around a random street in Gotham, doing nothing, like kicking rocks in his costume. He's listening to podcasts. That's his time. He's like, this is the only time I get
listening
to
to Alfred's podcast. Welcome. What would Alfred's podcast be called?
His podcast could be called something like Live from Wayne Manor. Something about like Wayne Manor being the attraction.
Live from Wayne Manor.
He's got theme tunes. He's got a soundboard.
In today's episode, Commissioner Gordon. Well, welcome, Commissioner.
Hello there.
Commissioner, you sound a bit different today. So what's the matter with you?
I've got a cold.
So, Commissioner, where's the crime going in Gotham City?
I don't know. Batman deals with that shit, baby. You want to get high?
Fuck yeah, I do. Come on, man. Welcome to... Whoa. Welcome to... What's my podcast called again?
I think you should name it Weed Manor, bro.
Weed Manor, bro. Welcome to Weed Manor, where I get high with random people. No, he turns cockney when he's supposed to say, welcome to fucking Weed Manor, when I get fucking bait with random people from Gotham City. So you know him. Wives fancy him. Fucking big brick of a chin. It's Commissioner Gordon. Welcome to the fucking show, mate.
I can't feel my face. Is my mustache still there?
Alfred's just wearing it. Nah, mate. It's my mustache.
Cool, I'm so glad I came.
Our next guest. You know him. He's a pretty cool guy. Mr. fucking Freeze. Say hello, Mr. Freeze.
I'm so high. I'm clam baking my helmet.
Clam baking?
I don't know terms. I'm a nerd.
Clam baking. Is that some like fucking New England like phrase? Is that what they call hotboxing in Maine?
I think that's what it was. Yeah,
that is really funny. Like you went from New Jersey, where it's like, let's hotbox, bro, like in a car. Yeah. Hey, let's hotbox and then let's go fucking have some Azar, baby. And then you go to fucking New England and they're like, hey, oh yeah, we're gonna be clam boxing up here. We're gonna be clam baking. Hey, get in the chum bucket, bud.
Oh.
Clam baking.
Yep, that's a thing.
Fucking Bruce Wayne just walks in there like
he sees the commissioner, he's like, oh, busted.
Yeah, commissioner's like, well, what do you got there, buddy? That's not legal. Oh my God,
it is a Weed Manor, bro.
Your Commissioner Gordon impersonation was so shit, and I love it.
Thank you. Okay, how do you feel about that C-list supervillain called Torchy that we get right at the beginning?
I kind of dug him. I like the reveal that he actually is missing like one of his hands. Like I thought he just put a drill like over his hand, but no, the dude's like he had like a little like metal rod there.
But he's like the worst Swiss Army knife ever because he's only got two things. He's got a torch or a drill. Like that's all he's got.
And his name is he's a simple man.
I guess the driller's already been taken, so he's like, all right, well, I got a torch. Torchy is my name. That's what I'm going with, baby.
Torching it up. Or maybe he's like, it's torque. Like, there's a lot of torque behind this thing. Like, yeah, whatever, Torchy. You put one torch on your hand, and everyone starts calling you fucking Torchy.
He almost killed Batman, to be fair. He almost drilled straight through Batman's chest.
That's true.
He looked a bit G.I. Joe or Captain Planet, though.
Yeah, he looked like an action figure, but I would have bought the action figure. A villain with like a drill hand, that's fun.
Well, get your buddy Todd McFarlane to make that next. Torchy.
We're not that close.
The builder figure. I did think it was weird, though, that Batman throws a batarang at Torchy and it's just tucked into his utility belt. I'm like, that looked uncomfortable. Why is it just tucked behind his belt? Did you see that? It was just like neatly
Alfred
placed.
was so fucking high when he put my belt together today. Putting shit in weird places. What is this?
If he
he goes for a batarang, he's like, this is a fucking gram of weed. What is this doing?
If he did a big jump, that thing would have like stabbed him right in the stomach. Like if he landed wrong, he goes to that doctor and she's just like, you fell on a batarang again, didn't you? He's like, yes, this one's really deep. Can you take it out?
I need to fire Alfred. He's just getting high. With villains. Like actual, like Mr. Freeze was in my house the other day. Commissioner Gordon was cool with it.
Cool.
Not you too, Doctor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Batman. It was right there.
I also thought it was weird that Batman said like he thought the gas had no effect on him at first, which I was like, that's a weird assumption considering he caught a guy trying to put it in Gotham's water. If you catch someone doing that, you're going to be like, well, whatever he hit me with is probably going to fuck me up.
Well, maybe he's thinking, I've been hit by his gas so many times. Perhaps I'm building up a tolerance to it.
But I don't think, well, I guess I'm not sure if he knew it was the Scarecrow at that point, but he definitely did not have a tolerance in this episode. He was fucked up.
He was a little scaredy boy, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. So we get our first like mirage or hallucination, which is the Joker walking up to him in the Batcave, which even when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, like that was a cool image to see just the Joker in the Batcave, which we never see. Well, we do see, but not for a very long time in Batman Beyond.
Did you feel like they showed too much Joker? Like, what are we saying? That Batman's afraid of the Joker? Like, all of his fears were
guess
like,
so.
It's the Joker!
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There was a lot of Joker, wasn't there? But, I mean, he is supposed to be Batman's biggest villain, so maybe in his subconscious, that's why he was there, because he's like, my greatest nemesis, the Joker, or Alfred and Robin, who are being really mean to me later on.
Yeah. They're so mean. Ever since Robin came in, they've been ganging up on me.
When the orderly tries taking off Batman's mask and Bartholomew says not yet, I noticed that the orderly has no eyes. He just has like lines, like slits. Did you see this? The entire episode, there's only one scene where you can see little dots. He looks like a blind man. And I was like, who is this orderly? Like, and why is he like, I don't know. He's walking around with a chair tucked under his arm and he keeps on folding it out and putting it for Bartholomew to sit down in. And when Bartholomew stands up, he folds it and tucked under his arm. I'm like, is that his job? Does he just follow this guy around?
Yeah.
Folding out chairs for him?
He probably went over to a chair one day. He was like, oh, my back. Can one of you guys carry this? So then just like, that was it. The guy carried it every single time after that.
Hey, blind guy, come here.
What? What, you deaf? You're blind,
if he
bud. Come here.
He wouldn't have been able to see if it was Bruce Wayne, even if he did take off the mask, because he's fucking blind.
Newsflash, I can't see fucking shit. I'm blind as a bat over here. Ew.
And then later on, we see Bartholomew come back to Batman, and he's just like, we checked Scarecrow's cell, and he wasn't there. And he's with two new orderlies, one who looks like Ron Weasley and Harry Potter had a fucking love child together. Did you see that redheaded guy with the Harry Potter glasses on? I thought that was very funny.
There's one that looks just like Bruce Wayne. Is that closed?
That's the blind guy.
McGee? Yeah.
That's the name of the orderly, Blind Eye McGee. Arkham, Dr. Bartholomew, and the famous orderly, Blind Eyes McGee.
Blind Eye McGee. I always turn a blind eye to some of these inmates. Do you know what was really missing from this? The scene when Batman runs through Arkham to escape the guards. Why did we not open up the slots and have all the villains watching him and saying cool little lines of like, you know, oh, the Bat's trying to get out of the Belfry, all that type of stuff. Like, and we could have seen like all these, like Mad Hatter. We could have seen Two-Face. We could have actually seen them.
Well, I guess you can't pay all those voice actors, so you could take away the lines, but instead just have them there. I agree, that would have been amazing to see them all watching Batman escape.
You're saying it's a money thing? Ugh.
Well, yeah, because they're not going to have every
Ugh.
single villain come in for all of that. They've got a budget for each episode.
Money's always squandering creativity.
Well, who's this? Is this
capitalist society?
Is this Blind Eye Orderly? Blind Eye McGee?
I fucking love movies, but I can't fucking see them. I love the sound of them.
I also love how the Doctor doesn't believe Batman. Like, Batman has saved Gotham numerous times from villains and actual monsters, but this guy's taking care of these people in Arkham. Like, he knows that these criminals exist and how messed up they are, but he's like, Scarecrow poisoning the water? I don't think so. And he even pretends to write it down like, sure, buddy, that's what's happening. I was like, you are an idiot.
Yeah, but it's like, that's a classic, like, I know better than you, and like, I think it's just this, like, that's absolute superiority complex from someone like that. It makes full sense.
That's why Gotham needs Batman. I get it. But I was like, how bad? Like, the last time we saw Scarecrow, Batman went to Arkham because they thought they had Scarecrow in his cell, and it was a friggin' straw dude, a fake dude, rocking back in a rocking chair. You would have thought that they learned their lesson, but they're like, he's asleep in his cell. I'm like, has anyone seen him move in the last 3 days? Have they spoken to him? It's probably a straw guy again.
It's like that movie Law Abiding Citizen where, what's his name, is like escaping in his cell and everything like that and going around terrorizing.
I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. Oh my God.
Spoiling all these. I'm spoiling every movie from 20 years ago in this podcast. I watched it last year.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it in a while. I thought it was really sweet that Scarecrow still cares about health and safety. Like, he's poisoning the city's water supply, but he's made sure that all his men are like got the proper safety helmets and like gloves.
Well, because if they get like high on his supply, they might ruin the whole operation.
They got like little radios built in on their helmets as well, and they're all in communication. They've got these procedures. All of their timing is set to it. I was like, this is really sweet. Like, Scarecrow's got himself like a little gang, and they're all doing what he says. He's like, you're the assistant manager. I'm the manager, obviously, and we're going to, and maybe you'll get a promotion if this goes right.
I bet he just hired like an all-in-one package that does all that, right? Like, they probably had the kit and everything. It's like, great. Look, I got to get it done at this time. Just get it done. And then the manager takes over and dictates from there.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, maybe they should be like a new business in Gotham.
I can't see them sitting down having a meeting being like, okay, at 3 p.m. we need to get this supply and all that stuff. Like, I bet he's like, yeah, you handle that. I have to go hide in my jail cell.
That wall really needs a clean. Batman takes the axe off the wall and you see the original color of the wall underneath the axe. That's not the color of the wall around it. You're like, Jesus, Arkham is so dirty. Yeah. And then I laughed quite a bit with Batman shuffling his butt to cut the straitjacket on the axe. Yeah. He just looked really funny. Like, he looked like a little worm just like shuffling around. And then Batman gets cave envy when he goes underneath Arkham. Like, it's so big. Like, do you think he was just like, man, I should have fucking moved here. This is pretty dope.
Well, don't you remember our old Batman story we wrote where we had Batman have a like cave 2.0 underneath Arkham?
Yeah, we called it the Bat Bunker, didn't we?
Yeah, the Bat Bunker. Oh, that shit was dope.
Yeah, that shit was dope. I think that's been done a few times, but
has it?
I think Scott Snyder even did it at some point. But I loved where we had Bruce Wayne at Arkham and something goes wrong and he goes into the elevator and there's a certain code that takes you to a floor that is the Bat Bunker that only he knows, and it like scans him and stuff like that. And then, yeah, he gets into costume down there. Bat Bunker's cool, man. Yeah, I dig it. But this cave I was like, why would you have the city's water supply going underneath the asylum? Of all places.
Because how is an inmate gonna break out and poison it? Like, it's not a problem.
In this episode, that's exactly what happens.
Yes, but it was a highly organized thing.
Well, yeah, because he hired those guys.
He would have done if he was an inmate or not. Like, it doesn't matter that there's an asylum above the water supply.
I guess so. I just thought, like, of all the places that has to be.
Well, it's convenient for the fucking plot. You don't want him to have to run, like, miles after that, do you? He's got to get there.
Yeah. And the Batmobile's wrecked, so he ain't getting in that thing.
Yeah. Lucius Fox was like, oh, son of a bitch. That's going to be many weekends away from my family fixing that. I have a full-time job besides this.
I really liked creepy Alfred too in the hallucination when he's like, yes. And he's stretching out his words. And I got hints of Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.'s Doc Ock there as well, because obviously he's that. And it even reminded me of that Spider-Man episode where Mysterio creates that illusion and Chameleon pretends to be Aunt May, and she says, like, anything from the trolley, dears? Or whatever the fuck she says.
Harry Potter?
Yeah, I can't remember what she says. That's the first thing that... I can't believe... that was the first thing that popped into my head.
Kid in the next carriage is like, oh, for fuck's sake. A lot! It's also my first trip to fucking Hogwarts. I'd like the experience of eating a chocolate frog. Rich little fucking bastard.
My love that Batman is when Scarecrow and his goons are 2 minutes away from poisoning the city, and a Batarang comes out of nowhere and smacks his pocket watch out of his hand, and then Batman theme plays, and he swings in, he lands on a platform. So fucking cool.
Weird animation, like the positioning he was in, where he landed.
Spider-Man, like, kind of the pose that he lands in, yeah. Apparently Batman has a fear of zombies?
Yes, I you know me, big zombie nut. When I saw zombies in this, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting to see. And then I thought him whistling into the speaker system. At first I was like, that's kind of lame. But then I realized like that's a clever way to break the illusion, because they've all got the headphones in their helmets. So him blowing into that speaker like is a really piercing, sharp noise in their ears. So I was like, that's a clever thing for Batman to do.
It means that he didn't really truly believe they were zombies, because, I mean, you do that to a zombie, they're like, I don't give a shit. I hate you.
The classic zombie line. I don't give a shit.
I don't give a fuck. You look delicious.
So Batman sees a pipe as a snake, and after realizing he's not Indiana Jones, he grabs it, rips the pipe out, and that puts the end to Scarecrow's plan. And with the 1 second to go, too, I was like, holy shit, that was really cutting it close. Did you see that?
Yeah. Speaking of Indiana Jones, have you seen that Bethesda Indiana Jones game?
It looks pretty good, man.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, but I'm a sucker for indie, aren't I?
Yeah, I'm not into the idea of it being in first person, though.
I don't mind. I don't care. Also, I'm now Force Ghosty again. Look at me. Hello, William. I'm here to tell you about dreams in darkness.
And I'm Oompa blowing up.
Yeah, why does this happen?
It's that time where I blow up too. What do you get when you gobble down scotch?
Loosening your belt by another notch.
What do you do if you can't reach when you wipe?
I don't want to rhyme that one.
Anything rhymes with wipe, does it? Wipe.
Swipe.
Snipe. Type.
Right, this is a great podcast.
What else rhymes? Type. Snipe. Right.
Well, we're getting to the end. We got Scarecrow gets a taste of his own medicine. Taste of your medicine, doctor. And he's imprisoned in Arkham.
Hype's a good one.
Hype.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have to keep that whole segment in because.
Oh, you were gonna cut it out?
Oh, maybe. I always like having the option, but that's staying in now. All right.
Staying in. Everyone, write in to @CAS Pod. Is that it?
Nope. You stick to your lane, bud. You stick to your lane, all right?
Another word that rhymes. What's the best word that rhymes with wipe? I think it might be hype or snipe.
Pipe?
Pipe's a good one.
Everybody locate Robson Inc. online and let him know.
Don't do that.
What do you think?
Yeah, Robson Inc. with a C, everybody. INC.
So then Dr. Bartholomew realizes he's the worst doctor ever and tells his orderlies to make sure that they keep him in there this time. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, what's your job? And he's like, I'm going to go get fucking high on that fear toxin, baby. We're going to get freaky up in this bitch.
Everyone's getting fucking high in
this
episode.
Then we cut to the Batcave where Alfred administers the antidote to Bruce, who's all tucked up in the Batcave, all comfy under the sheets. And apparently, like, that's where he's going to sleep for the next 2 days?
Alfred. Well, you don't have to worry about sunshine coming in, right? I'm not going to wake him up.
But why not your bedroom? It's warm and dry. The cave is cold and damp. That pillow's going to get moldy.
In Batman, mate.
Just to sleep there for two days.
First of all, not just those 2 days. Bruce Wayne has been missing for how many days? And what the fuck has Alfred done?
Yeah.
The whole time he's locked up in Arkham, what has he been doing?
Yeah.
Where's Robin?
Yeah.
Why does no one care where Batman is right now?
Alfred like thinks he hears something like, that's gotta be him, and it's just like a window blowing in the wind. He's like, that's Master Bruce. He's watching TV eating snacks. He's like, I am in my happy place. I'm in a new miniseries.
No, maybe he's like,
I'm
mad at him.
I also thought it'd be funny. What if Alfred injected him with the wrong thing? Like, whoop-de-doo. What is it, Alfred? How can I put this? You know how you're the Batman? Well, it's opposite day, and now you're the Man-Bat, because that was Man-Bat serum. Sorry!
Cuts back to Batman like, oh, Alfred, but he's like full-on Man-Bat. I think we'll be okay.
Yes, Master Bruce, you fit right in.
Go to bed for 2 days.
Night-night.
I am pretty tired. This whole wingspan knocks everything over. What was that, Alfred?
It's the bats in the Batcave, sir.
Yes, oh, bats in the Batcave, huh? That's kind of turning into a problem. Might have to deal with that.
Yes, a big problem.
Is it just me, or like I can hear you like so clear right now? I'm starving. Go to bed, sir.
I really want fruit. All right, and that is the end of the episode. Overall, enjoyed it. Very film noir, as you said, which is something we don't get a lot of, specifically the narration in this show. So that was really cool to see some odes to some old film noir there. Does it make your top 3?
No.
I don't know when that will change for us.
When a classic comes along.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it will get tough as we get to things like Almost Got Him and things like that. So yeah, top 3, as a reminder again, in no particular order: On Leather Wings, Two-Face Part 1, and Joker's Favor are our top 3 favorites. And then next week, we're going to review the episode Eternal Youth, which is a Poison Ivy episode. And that also features a lot of Alfred and a love interest for Alfred as well, which I'm quite looking forward to. So we'll get to that next week. I know. It's actually probably actually no, it's not my favorite Poison Ivy episode, but I enjoy the whole idea, because
I'm quite taken at the moment by Mary Jane, if you know what I'm saying.
I will say that I'm not surprised as the last Scarecrow being the main villain, because you can only do so much with his fear toxin. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not until the new Batman Adventures where they flip the script and they're like, what if Scarecrow made a toxin that took your fear away? And how dangerous would Batman be and things like that? That's when they're like thinking outside the box. But are you listening to me? You remember you're on video, Mr. On his phone?
I'm actually sending you the images of the prints that we mentioned earlier so people can see the cool images I drew of Batman. So,
okay.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, thanks for doing that. You could have done it later, but all right. Thanks for doing that.
I'm a man on the clock, baby.
This
is your time with me. That's it.
That's the only time I get to see my brother.
This is all you get.
I will say that the Poison Ivy episodes, they're always doing something different, at least. Whereas Scarecrow, it's kind of like he's got his fear toxin and he's going to try and release it on people, and Batman is, or maybe Robin is going to get infected. I like Poison Ivy plots because they're never the same. Yeah, they've got to deal with plants, but she's an eco-terrorist, and I kind of like all the places they go with that. So I'm looking forward to next week's episode.